we'll start with some basic investigative charts to get a feel for what that data looks like. And so the first chart we're going to look at is a pie chart. And when we're using a pie chart in data science, we're looking at percentages of a total or parts of a whole. So a pie says, just like at Thanksgiving, right? We cut the pie into pieces, and one piece goes to dad, the biggest piece, obviously, that's me. And then, we cut it into smaller pieces for different people, and that's the percentage. There's only one pie, and the pieces of the pie represent how much of that pie you get to eat. And just like a pie chart, just like that pie, a pie chart represents the proportion of the total that you get to have for any particular purpose. So let's take a look at our data. And so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to import pandas, and I'm going to import a library called Plotly Express, and I'll import that as PX because who wants to type Plotly Express over and over and over? Not me. So I've got pandas as PD and PX for Plotly Express. I'm loading the CSV file, the comma separated values, the data file that I just showed you, into a pandas data frame. And we'll print the head of the data frame just to get a feel for what that data looks like. So let's run that and see what our data looks like. Eventually it will come up. You can hear my computer grinding away. It's time for a new computer, maybe. I'm going to use that as an excuse to buy a new computer, at least. So we've got city, state, year, shark attacks, ice cream sales, and then if I scroll a little to the right, there's our high temperature. So we've got that data for that data frame. And if I print that whole DF, we can see how many rows of data we have. Okay, so we've got 200 rows. So we've got 10 years of data for 20 cities, if you're keeping track. So that's our data frame there. So let's check out a pie chart, and we will do the ice cream sales by state. I want to see what states are we really talking a lot of volume in our ice cream sales. So there's a couple of operations that I'm going to do to prepare the data for the chart, and then there's an operation where I'm going to actually display the chart. So first thing I want to do is I want to sum up the ice cream sales for each state. So what I'm going to do is create a data frame variable, and I'm going to assign it the df.groupBy. So I'm grouping by state, and I'm totaling or summing the ice cream sales for each state. So this is the data that I'm creating a sum for, and I'm grouping by state. And then at the end here, you can see I've tacked on reset index. All that does is reset the index for the rows in that table so that I have new indexes for each state. So if I do that, then I have this total ice cream sales by state, super long variable name. I'm not sure why I did that to myself, but it's okay. I'm only going to use it one more time or two more times. I've got now my pie chart code right here. And you can see it's fairly succinct. I'm creating a figure using plotlyexpress.py. And the first thing I give it is the data frame that I'm going to use. And that takes a pandas data frame. And what I'm going to give it is a couple of arguments here that are named arguments. I'm going to say values is equal to ice cream sales. So this is the column that I'm going to use for the numbers in the pie chart. And then I'm going to label those using state. So let's see what that looks like. And you can see I've got title here, another named argument. So that's the title of the chart. And then it says color equals state. And it's not to say that California is a color and South Carolina is a color and Hawaii is a color. It's to say that I'm going to use state to have it automatically generate colors that are different from each other for each state. So let's run this and see what it looks like. So when I run this, it's going to do its thing. In just a second, it's going to pop open a browser window. There it is, with my pie chart in it. And you can see each state is listed over here with its corresponding color. So it's using the state to label these and to generate the color. And then it's automatically generating the percentages for that pie chart. And if I hover over it, I can see the state name and how many ice cream sales there are for that piece. And you can see here that I have it in my desktop size window. But if I was viewing this on a phone, it modifies itself to be the size and shape of a phone. So that window is flexible. But the other thing I can do to interact with all of these is anytime I have a legend over here, I can click on individual colors or categories to turn that data off and on. So for example, let's say I look at this and I'm like, California and Florida are dominating this data. I can't even really see what's going on very well in terms of the other states. Maybe I want to just see the data without Florida and without California. So I can turn those off. And now the remaining 5 states are showing me the rest of that data. Or it shows me what the pie looks like if those 5 states were the only totals. So it's really useful and flexible. And you can see it's a relatively small amount of code, right, to generate that piece. So there is my code for a pie chart. So what else can we do to understand what's going on in that data?